Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Financial Astrology. Right, okay. Tonight, this is coming on. This is a little bit of an ambush here, because I think we need to talk about Social Security. Yeah, we need to talk about Social Security, and as you know, this is financial astrology. So this is where I focus more on financial things affecting the world. I'll soon be doing, I'm sorry that my background, I think I've blended in a bit too much with my background. Let me just change my shirt. Um, I think this is just something very, very important to talk about. What I have done is I have created the chart for Social Security. We're going to look at that, and then we're also going to look at some articles, that I found. And I'm a bit concerned. One of the main reasons why I'm concerned is because around about, according to what I've been able to see, around about 73 million American citizens of the age of 65 and over receive Social Security, either as a partial top up to their income or its entirety of their income. And as we know, this new regime, the Trump regime, is going to be making cuts and stuff like that to Medicaid, etc. All of this stuff, which of course is going to affect millions of Americans. But there are murmurings, or more than murmurings, about Social Security. And this has been getting me a little bit worried, because this is going to affect a lot of people. And I just thought, I need to have a little dive into this. So sorry, it's a little bit of an ambush, but I was just like, you know what? I need to do it. I need to do this. Thank you. There's actually a few of you. There's a few of you here, actually. So Bunny Young says, love your channel. Appreciation for you. Keep doing what you do. Thank you. Sherry saying, hello, Hogarth. Hope you're good. Tobiah is, Tobiah saying, good evening. A few of you are piling in. Thanks so much. Dragon Rising, thank you so much. Oh gosh, there's quite a few here. Carmen B. So many of you are joining me. Thank you. It is an ambush. You wouldn't have been expecting this. I've just let rip and dive in. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to look at the chart of Social Security. And again, this isn't to spook people and stuff like that, but I want to show you astrologically what is going on, and then we'll just get a little bit of historical context as well. So first, let's do a little bit of the historical context. So I'm going to share my screen with you, just so you can see. It's good to do, obviously, do a little bit of research on these things, especially as it's an important benefit. What am I doing here? Let's do Social Security history. Here we go. So I'm going to share this with you. So hopefully you guys can see this. Now, this is coming from Social Security history. I'm just scrolling up and down. Oh, I think this is quite a long document. And there's also a Wikipedia page as well, which probably will get there quicker. So here we are, the Social Security Act, Passage and Development. So the Committee on Economic Security, CES. Now, this was discussed on June 8th, 1934. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, of course. And here, so the Social Security Act, in early January 1935, the CES made a report to the president. On January the 17th, the president introduced a report to both houses of Congress for simultaneous consideration. Hearings were held in the House Ways and Means Committee and the Senate Committee during January and February. Some provisions made it through the committees in close votes, but the bill passed on both houses overwhelmingly in the floor votes. After a conference which lasted throughout July, the bill was finally passed and sent to President Roosevelt for his signature. Now, of course, we all know, President Roosevelt. Was he Teddy Roosevelt? I think his affectionate name was. If I understand correctly, I think he had 4 terms. Is that correct? One of the greatest, understood to be one of the greatest presidents to ever take the office. Obviously, you have Washington, etc. But Roosevelt is considered up there, understandably. And here, highlighted in purple, it says the Social Security Act was signed into law by President Roosevelt on August 14th, 1935. In addition to several provisions for general welfare, the new act created a social insurance program designed to pay retired workers aged 65 or older a continuing income after retirement. And this is part of the statement that he made. And then I'm going to get into the chart. We can never ensure 100% of the population against 100% of the hazards and vicissitudes of life. When did you last hear a president use the word vicissitudes? Fabulous word. Vagaries and variations that are hard to predict, but nonetheless inevitable. Is how I would define that word. The vicissitudes of life. But we have tried to frame a law which will give some measure of protection to the average citizen and to his family against the loss of a job and against poverty-ridden old age, President Roosevelt said upon signing the Social Security Act. Yep, so you guys will know this, but I'll just read a little bit more. Otherwise, I'd end up reading the whole bloody document, wouldn't I? So major provisions of the Act. The Social Security Act did not quite achieve all the aspirations its supporters had hoped by way of providing comprehensive package of protection against the hazards and vicissitudes of life. Certain features on that package, notably disability coverage and medical benefits, which I think, of course, is now covered by Medicaid, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, would have to await future developments. But it did provide a wide range of programs to meet the nation's needs. In addition to the program we now think of as Social Security, it included unemployment insurance, old age assistance, aid to dependent children, and grants to the states to provide various forms of medical care. So this was instituted in 1935. So in August 14th, 2025, the act will be exactly 90 years old. And I was thinking, wow, yeah. So let me just do the stop share on that and go back in here. So I just thought I'll give you guys, I know you guys will know this, but many people may not know this, but I just thought just to give you a little bit of historical context so you can see that I've done my research and I'm checking to make sure that I'm getting stuff that's kosher, legit. Yeah. So what I did was I took that date, August 14th, 1935, and I took the time of midday. Now, when I did my research, the timing of the exact signing of the document was not apparent, but there was a photograph on Wikipedia, and it looks like they're in the Oval Office or some kind of office at the White House. So I took the time of midday. Now, the reason why I did that is because most acts or laws, they tend to come into effect midnight. So if it's set for a certain day, they often arrive on midnight. Is obviously 1 minute, well, 1 second into midnight. The stroke of midnight is technically the next day. So many laws that are passed to become active on a certain day often become active at that time. But anything that's being signed, of course, the president has to be awake. And more often than not, these signings often happen at midday to mid-afternoon. Yeah. So just to give, a little context, that is the date that, sorry, here, someone's give me an update here. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, different from Teddy. Oh, okay. Did I read out? What did I read out? Let me just look back again. Let me do present, and I'll do the Wikipedia this time. Share screen to see if I quoted the right one. Social Security Act. Articles, Social Security was a law was enacted by the 74th United States Congress. Oh, a nice picture there. Signed into law by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Oh, right. Yes, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Thanks so much. So obviously it wasn't Teddy. Forgive me. It must be his brother or something. I know there was a Teddy Roosevelt somewhere. Let's see, also known as FDR, was the 32nd president of the United States, serving from 1933 till his death in 1945. He is the longest serving US president and the only one to have served more than 2 terms. His initial 2 terms were centered on combating, etc. So, you know, one of your true greats. And this was revolutionary. We need to understand how revolutionary this idea was, because once upon a time, when you were poor, you would just be left to go into penury, pretty much, wouldn't it? Before that time, when people were no longer able to work, of course, they literally lost their security and status in life and income unless they were being looked after, of course, by family, etc. So what's this here? Ohio girl said, my grandparents had a painting on FDR on their wall. I thought he was a relative when I was young. Oh, bless. They loved him for saving our family by providing work for my grandfather. Wow. And then someone's saying here, this is interesting. Thank you. So that gives the context. Now let's go to the charts. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and you'll see why I want to share the screen, because when you'll see some of these things with the dates, etc., and all of that kind of stuff. So let's get the chart up. So here we are. So here's the chart, 14th of August, 1935. And as I explained before, I've chosen midday. It was more likely to have been signed at that time. That was just in general, in tradition. Even when you saw with Trump signing his executive orders in the early part of the day, around midday, 1, 2 in the afternoon. So taking that time of midday, this gives this chart a Libra rising, which is already very interesting. Now, what is Libra all about? Libra is the sign of what? Balance and equality, yeah? Trying to balance something out. Libra is also the sign of what? Fairness. Fairness, yeah? Being fair, being equitable. So how appropriate. We know it's going to be around about that time. Most likely, when this was signed into law by Roosevelt, it was probably Libra was rising on the eastern horizon. But how appropriate. But in any case, Mars, as you can see here, and Jupiter were in the sign of Libra. Mars is the planet of action, passion, action, logic, working things out. Yes, it is also associated with war, etc. But Mars isn't just war. He's also surgery, logic, problem solving, fixing something, engineers of all kinds. Jupiter deals with ideologies, philosophies, education, expansion, opportunities. Jupiter is one of the planets of the economy. And in fact, Jupiter represents the optimism in the economy, the growth aspect of the economy. Saturn can also represent the economy as well, but more the infrastructure side of the economy, the realistic side of the economy, and taxes, etc., and infrastructure. So here, Jupiter, which is a very ideological planet and a very idealistic planet, Mars and Jupiter were both in the sign of Libra at the signing of this. And this is actually, technically, if this time is right, if it was signed around midday or even going into 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, this would put Jupiter and Mars in the first house where they love to be. So this is really about initiating new things, pioneering. Mars is also the sign of pioneering something new. So pioneering what? Equilibrium, equality. One of the things that is very interesting here in this chart is that you will see Saturn was in sidereal Aquarius, yeah, where it currently is right now. It's right at the cusp on the edge of Aquarius. And of course, it's going into sidereal Pisces on the 29th of March, 2025. Today is the 18th of March, 2025. And it's now gone into the 18th. When I started the show, it was the 17th, but it's just past midnight now. So now it's the 18th UK time, still 17th in the USA at the time of doing this. So now what is Aquarius all about? Aquarius deals with the people. It deals with it's about equanimity as well. It's about the proletariat. It's about not only the ordinary person, all of society. Yeah, this was a benefit for all of society, for community. Aquarius is also a sign of innovation, doing new things. It deals with the collective. Here, it's also with the moon. The moon was just creeping into sidereal Aquarius at or around the time of this signing. So this is really what I would call a blended moon. I find when a planet reaches, well, we know the moon is not a planet, it's a satellite, but when we call it planet in astrology, when a planet reaches 2 degrees of a sign, that's when I consider it fully manifesting the energies of that sign. So this is a blended moon. And this moon is like between, even though it's technically in Aquarius, it also has the energies of Capricorn. So if this was signed earlier in the day, then this would be a Capricorn moon. Capricorn is also a sign of government. Saturn is a sign of government. And of course, Aquarius belongs to Saturn, yeah, Uranus and Rahu. So Aquarius is all about innovation, breaking the mold, doing new things, futuristic, technological. And even though this wasn't a very technological move, in terms of a concept, it was incredibly pioneering. The idea that this didn't really exist, as far as I'm aware, not on this level, where there was this concept that the state would look after you in your old age and in your mature years. Once upon a time, remember when you retired, if you were lucky, you got a gold watch, and it was like, off you go now, well done, thanks very much, Billy, or Annie. But remember as well, most of the time back in those days, it was the men working. You get your gold watch and then you would just slip off into the sunset and see you later. Yeah. And most people, died just a few years after retiring. So the idea of a kind of a universal, not only benefit, it's actually an entitlement. Yeah. Because people have paid into this. So that whole concept was born of paying into it. And I think the first payout was 1940 or something like that. They had to let the fund build up, and voila. So 90 years later, it is still going. So the moon is here as well. And the moon deals with the public. Saturn and the moon are not friends. However, when they're in blending in combination here, this means that the public is getting something from the government. Yeah, something the government has done will affect the public. Voila. One of the things, though, that I am a bit worried about, and you'll see some of the articles that I'll share in a minute. So, of course, what I've done is, we know the Great Awakening or the Rude Awakening is well underway. My goodness, look at what has been happening since the inauguration on the 20th of January. Declaration, Trump signing all of his executive orders, turning the world upside down, pretty much. Economy and turmoil, so much change, many people regretting their votes, some hardcore not, of course. A lot of people do still agree with what's going on with Doge and all of these cuts. Now, we know that they've proposed that bill to cut Medicaid. Yeah. And then, the Dems, Chuck Schumer, as we know, is kind of sided with darkness. I don't know, many of you will be Democrats watching this, but a lot of Democrats are very, very upset with what's happened, because essentially the Democrats have stepped out of the way and are facilitating this new, this continuation resolution, I think, going forward, which contains these huge cuts, from what I understand, to Medicaid. Correct me if I'm getting little bits of that wrong. As you know, I don't live in America, but this is the gist of what I understand. So that's going to be devastating for a lot of people. And now this, yeah, they're sniffing around Social Security. Yeah. Now, the reason why I'm showing you the chart is because when we look down here, yeah, where it says TR, as you know, this means transits. And I've punched in the date, 29th of March. And I even managed to find the time of the exact same ascendant. You see here in this D1 chart, when it was signed, taken midday, it was 17 degrees, 13 minutes of sidereal Libra. And by, finding the time, I was able to get to 17 degrees, 13 minutes of sidereal Libra. Yeah. So this on the 29th of March at 22:04. So 10:04 p.m. and 9 seconds on the 29th of March, UK time. So minus the 5 hours off of that to get the Eastern time in the USA. That is when this ascendant will be exactly back. Yeah, it will exactly match the chart from 90 years ago. Yeah, to that time. And you'll see here this big alignment, which you've heard me talk about before, but just in case you haven't heard me talk about, if you include Chiron, this is an alignment of 8 planets, yeah? 8 in sidereal Pisces, yeah? So we've got Saturn going direct, Rahu, then we have Venus retrograde. Venus is one of the planets of wealth, money, and economy. Remember, when a planet goes retrograde, it means review, revise, reassess. Neptune is here in the middle. The last time Neptune was in sidereal Pisces was about 164 years ago. I kid you not. Then Mercury is also retrograde. We know how challenging a Mercury retrograde. He also deals with money. Saturn is also a planet of the economy as well. And then we have Sun and Moon here, which is also an eclipse. So this day is also an eclipse. We've had the lunar eclipse, which was just a few days ago now on like 13th, 14th, yeah, of March. It's now the 18th, so about 4 days ago. So Sun and Moon are here, and we've got Chiron. So, which is also a Chiron return for the United States. It's also a Pluto return and a Uranus return as well for the United States. Now, in this chart, this pileup of planets is happening in the 6th house of the Social Security chart. Do you see where I'm going? Now, what is the 6th house? The 6th house, you won't believe this, deals with health, healing, and overcoming obstacles. It's known as a Dusthana house in Vedic astrology, which can be a tricky house. It deals with battles. So this means this big lineup here deals with energy. Like this has got a lot of energy. It's going to be bringing a lot of transformation. So this is saying to me like, oh dear, I think Social Security is in for some battles. It's almost like it has to fight. Yeah, fight a bit because this house also deals with enemies, having to do with enemies. And the sun also deals with leadership, CEOs, bosses, presidents, prime ministers. Is there a certain someone that might be an enemy of this? Now, Trump made his proclamations that he wasn't going to touch Social Security, but yeah, we know how fickle he is. Yeah. So I was a bit concerned about that. And the fact that Chiron is here as well. Chiron does deal with health and healing, but it also deals with people that are, things that are wounded. Remember, Chiron was shot in his heel accidentally by Hercules with an arrow that was dipped in the poison of the Hydra. That's why he wasn't able to die from the wound, because he was made immortal by the gods. But it also deals with wounding. So do you see here why I'm kind of like, But I think what is even more important is that you've got Uranus, the planet of sudden shocks and surprises, and Jupiter will be in the 8th house of transformation in this chart. in the Social Security chart. And you can see Chiron is actually there in the 8th house. Now, I refer to the 8th house as what? Sex, death, and rock and roll. So in a way, you can see here how when Roosevelt signed the chart, Chiron, the wounded healer, so it can also show where there's an opportunity for healing, was in the 8th house of Taurus. Taurus also deals with what? Food, money, asset classes of all kinds, bringing healing to the people via what? Food and asset classes, money, savings. You can see this incredible energy, really, of this chart. The sun, which also deals with the kingdom and deals with leaders, you see here, it is in the sign of Cancer, which is the sign of family, nurturing, mothering, helping something grow. And it's there with Pluto, planet of transformation. Yeah, it also sits in the Gandanta point, which means a karmic knot. So this is fascinating, and this Mercury is here in this Gandanta point as well. So this was a very karmic, pioneering, an unusual thing for a government to do, in order to what? Nurture the people, to look after them. But these transits, on this day, on the 29th of March, we see there is a lot of challenges as well to Social Security. Jupiter does represent the economy, yeah? And here it is. If you superimpose, imagine that these Uranus and Jupiter are up here, yeah? In floating in this chart, yeah? So that means Uranus and Jupiter will be transiting the 8th house of Social Security. The 8th house always deals with transformation. Yeah, transformation. So I hope, let me just kind of scroll through like the chat. Social Security. Let's see here. Someone's saying, Lynette Ray, if Social Security, Medicaid, or Medicare are touched, there will be hell to pay by any and all Democrats and Republicans. The nation will not stand for it. I totally agree. Obviously I can't advocate for violence and stuff like that, but you remember the 5th of November, UK, yeah? Dynamite of a certain institution, just saying, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hint, hint, for entertainment purposes only, yeah? But no, honestly, I think if they go there, it's just like, we're talking full-on revolution if they go there, if they do that, yeah? And then someone said, Tobias saying, it's fascinating how the astrology reinforces what is happening. Yeah. And that's why I hello, Julie. That's why I was like, you know what? I need to draw up the chart. Let me do a bit of research on this and see what energies are going on. And I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah. And then Diane is saying, I'm very worried about SSA and ending up homeless. Oh, bless. I certainly hope not. And Moni's saying we have to fight for the elderly. Yes. This is getting hello from Ohio. Hello, Cherry. And Cherry's saying that is amazing. Thanks so much. And then, yeah, Denise is saying almost scared to watch, but I can't stick my head in the sand. Indeed. Totally understandable. Now, what I'm going to do with you, I'm going to share some articles with you. One is actually from Rolling Stone, and the other one I think is MSNBC. So here we are. Let's do share. Let's do present, share screen, and let's get up. Now I Googled just to see what was out there and all of this stuff. So there's Duck L'Orange. So Rolling Stone, and it says here, look, cruel-hearted Social Security clawback change could bankruptcy. Oh God, I really hope not. I really, really hope not. As Trump and Musk target Social Security, the administration says it will cut off hold checks to seniors who receive an accidental payment. So at the moment, they're talking about accidental payment. You can see here, this article is dated the 17th of March, 2025, which of course was technically yesterday, but it's really today. If you're watching in the United States, because of course I'm 5 hours, well, no, 4 hours ahead of because your clocks have gone forwards. I'm 4 hours ahead of USA time, but this is today, really. This article came out by Rolling Stone today. So let's see here. Yeah, so President Donald Trump and White House senior advisor and Tesla CEO Elon Musk shake hands after looking at Tesla vehicles at the White House on March 11th. Remember that? Literally car sales from the driveway of the White House. My God, you can't make it up. Anyway, so I'll read you a bit of this. At 5 p.m. on Friday, March 7, Donald Trump's Social Security Administration, SSA, announced a change in policy that could easily, bankrupt some of the program's senior beneficiaries. The agency will now revert back to a more punishing policy that some Republican members of Congress previously publicly opposed. So remember, previously opposed a policy that makes seniors bear the cost of government mistakes. Wow. So the rule change will result in Social Security payments being stopped. Wow. Entirely to Americans who receive overpayments. So from the agency until the balance is recouped. So it says here the change, oh God, this is a bit scary, isn't it? The change could devastate some program recipients, which is why some Republican members of Congress were against a previous iteration of the policy. Overpayments are often the result of mistakes by the agency. A 2024 Congressional Research Service study found, although the exact percentage of overpayments that are fraud compared to error was not reported. Yeah. So, and it says here, Senator Rick Scott, of all people, a conservative Trump ally, warned that in 2023, that having 100% clawback rate, where the agency withholds 100% of beneficiary payments until the past overpayments are rectified, will bankrupt an untold number of elderly Floridians. So you look at that. That's Rick Scott actually coming out and saying that. So Social Security needs to be held accountable for these errors, not Florida seniors, Scott said in a 2023 letter to the agency. So even it seems in Republican quarters, there seems to be some disquiet, about that. I mean, it would, and look, yes, look here. Julie Gulev is saying Rick Scott is the worst. Odd. Yeah, but you could see it there in the writing, isn't it? According to the Rolling Stone. Let's see here. Dulcie is saying, I've been paying into SSS since I was 13, retired at 60. Aries rising. It better be there in 5 years when I start collecting. Indeed. Oh, I see, because you don't get until 65, even though you've retired. I get you now. I understand. And then someone's saying here, Lynette Ray, say, just imagine the NHS stopped working. There were no payments to pensioners in the UK. There would be an uprising. Absolutely. And the fact that, I mean, it's just, I just find I almost struggle to find the language. The fact that they're even floating this as an idea. 73 million Americans. Let me share another post. This is MSNBC, and let's just see what they have to say, and then we'll talk about it, and then I will sign off. So I should get a bit of sleep, shouldn't I? So here, sorry, CNBC. Pardon me. So if we look here, CNBC, with Social Security Administration under temporary leadership, some experts worry that means what that means for the benefits. So this again was March 17th. So I picked fresh ones. Yeah, these articles are only a few hours old because I wanted you guys to be as on point as I could. Yeah. says key points. The Trump administration's so-called Department of Government Efficiency has already implemented changes at the Social Security Administration. Some experts say that they may make it more difficult to access the agency's benefits and services. Yet Republicans in Congress say DOGE has in some ways already helped improve efficiency. Right, that's according to Republicans. Take that with a pinch of salt. New leadership at the Social Security Administration, tied to the Trump administration's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, has implemented swift changes. Many experts say, so changes, transformation, 8th house. Do you remember saying, like, wow, Uranus, Jupiter in the 8th house of the Social Security chart? Many experts say Americans will notice a difference when seeking help from the agency following staff cuts, regional office closures, and new service policies. The Social Security Administration is currently under the temporary leadership of Acting Commissioner Lee Dudek, who has assumed the role in February after Acting Commissioner Michelle King stepped down over DOGE privacy concerns. So with Elon going through and pilfering everything, she stepped down. Dudek has previously publicly stated he'd been placed on administrative leave for cooperating with DOGE, according to reports. So let's see here. As temporary leader, Dudek does not have the obligation to answer to Congress. So when you are confirmed commissioner, you get called up to the Hill to testify on various issues that are operating for the agency. Jason Fitchner, I don't know how to say it, a former Social Security Administrative Executive, said during National Academy of Social Insurance panel last week. So it's a check and balance that we don't have. So as DOGE's actions have upended the status quo at the Social Security Administration, former agency leaders, retirement experts, and Democratic lawmakers have raised concern about new policies. Meanwhile, Republicans in Congress last week praised DOGE for increasing the agency's efficiency since President Trump took office. The Social Security Administration did not respond to a request from CNBC for comment at this time. And it says economic security of millions of Americans is at stake. So here we've got, it goes on here. The economic security of millions of Americans at stake, the signees wrote. The major destabilizing changes the Social Security Administration has undergone. And it says staff reductions, about 7,000 of the agency's 57,000 employees, while agency already had an employee shortage and hiring freeze. Closure of 10 field offices. So you see, they are doing stuff. They are, which may limit access to benefits, a reorganized leadership structure that will have just 5 deputy commissioners who will now be political appointees, the closure of the Office of Civil Rights and Office of Transformation in an effort to cut costs, and the termination of research focused on how to improve Social Security, both from administrative and legislative standpoints. So you see, they're contradicting themselves. They're saying, oh, we're doing this for efficiency, yet why would they terminate the department that is focused on how to improve Social Security? Yeah, because they're a lying bunch of SOBs. And that's why I was a bit, that's why you can see why I wanted to take a look here. Judy Grove, Rick Scott, then governor of Florida, raped and pillaged over 300 million with his medical facilities, mostly from the elderly. Wow. And then Finbar says Social Security offices have already been scaled back before this mess. Wow. And then and then social services cut bait. First time the fascist was in office. Goodness. So you see, they are not telling the truth. Yeah. They are not telling the truth. So I just wanted to give an energetic thing. So, okay, so what to do about it? What to do about it? As you can see, this is quite serious. They're obviously trying to do this stuff on the down low. One of Trump's campaign promises was that he would not touch Social Security. And in fact, there was someone here, I don't know if they're conservative or Republican, but they listed, let me just do one last little share. Let's do share screen. I think this is an independent blogger. I don't know if they are Republican or Democrat. And it says here with Social Security so far. And then it was here, you can see, here's the article. So this is some individual. In 2025, about 73 million Americans will receive Social Security, supplemental security income, or both. And which, according to the Social Security Administration, with nearly 1.6 trillion in benefits paid out annually, Trump's agenda could directly impact Social Security, a significant source of income for most people over the age of 65 or 65 and over. The program is on slippery ground and will need to reduce benefits in 10 years if Congress doesn't make changes to bolster its finances. So just to hear is highlighted. So Trump, taps lead Dudek as new administration plans to implement. There is, the administration gives those the green light. But it says here, look, to close offices. Yeah, there's that bit. But now during his campaign, President wrote on social media, seniors should not pay tax on Social Security. He doubled down on that promise during his joint address to Congress. Trump called for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security benefits, emphasizing that reducing waste and fraud would help lower inflation, balance the budget, and strengthen the economy, although some states will still tax beneficiaries. But now what we're seeing, that doesn't really seem like to be the case, doesn't it? It says here, Trump says he will not cut Social Security. The Trump administration will not cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid benefits, the White House said in a press release. President Trump himself has said it over and over again. But we know it now not to be true. Yeah? When was this article written? It says last update is 7 hours ago, but that could have been... Let's see if there's a date here. I can't find a date on this. But anyway, let's just stop sharing there. So you see there's a contradiction. And I thought, right, have to have a look. So what I would say is what to do about this. Steel yourselves, everyone. Get ready to fight and campaign to the eyeballs. Yeah. Organize yourselves, talk with each other. Look, you can see here a good few of you already chatting here. Collaborate with your friends. Talk to your friends who also receive Social Security. Develop a strategy together for peaceful protest. Who do you need to call? What placards do you need to make, etc.? All of that stuff. Now, of course, by virtue, obviously people who are on Social Security are older. And I'm not saying, go around, kick down doors and do karate chops and all of that kind of stuff. But the more of you that rise up en masse, putting this pressure, fighting, fighting for your rights, protesting, writing to senators, not only Democrat, but Republican, independents, everyone raising their voice, because this is so important, so important. And when I look at the chart, you can see why I'm concerned, because that big stellium of planets, of 8 planets, when you include Chiron, is in the 6th house. Health and healing, battles, obstacles, trying to overcome them. And then that Uranus, planet of sudden shocks and surprises, Jupiter, planet of ideology and economy, is transiting through the 8th house of transformation, sex, death, and rock and roll, in that chart of 90 years ago. Yeah, it will be exactly 90 years on the 14th of August, 2025. So you can see there's this big change coming. So what are your thoughts on that? Let's just see here. Oh, good. Let's share some Jerry says, I'm attending a meeting in our area soon on this matter. Raise your voice now while we can. Let them hear us roar. Absolutely. Let's see here. This is good to know, folks. Definitely organize yourself. This is important. You know, if they cut this, I don't even want to think about it. It's just beyond, yeah, beyond. So Finbar says, I'm sending postcards even though my red state is being run by goons who say that they like what Dumpy does. The dummies vote for them anyway. If I call, I get really pissed off. Yeah. So, and here we are. Lynette saying the orange one is a liar. Yes, he is. So, of course, if they cut, this is going to affect people that voted for Duck L'Orange as well. Like, in fact, the majority, yeah? So they voted against their own interest. Now, obviously, on this one, he obviously kept a bit stum on Social Security because you can see when we read that article, he said to everyone he wasn't going to cut it. But now we know closing offices, doing this. Now they're starting to play their little Piper tune, aren't they? Yeah, starting to play on the harmonica, talking about efficiencies and all of this stuff, which we know is just another one. Another one of their ruses. What's this here? Juniper's Tarot and Astrology says they're also not telling us the cases that have elderly people who die alone and nobody reports their deaths because they are alone, no family. They may still receive benefits. The checks aren't cashed. Yeah, really good point. And let's see here. Lynette Ray says for Democrats, where we write to our senators, governors, and representatives, and I suggest writing to Republicans for your state too. Tell them what they think and how happy you are. I would say as well, if you got some pitchforks there, some pitchforks and other bits and bobs, I mean, because this is livelihoods here. This should not even be in the conversation. Not a word of this should even be breathed, let alone closing down offices and all this BS that they're doing. Let's see here. Mona saying, actually, I don't think Duck L'Orange or the MAGAs care whatsoever we do. Indeed, there's truth in that, but there's the MAGAs that are on Social Security as well. So they're going to get as well. So they'll be changing their tune. Well, they already are because a lot of them are losing their government jobs, aren't they? Let's see here. CP says, I don't think they will because they wouldn't win a future election. Yes, but that's if there are elections in the future. If, yeah. So I don't think this is going to last to the midterms, not with this, because they're closing the offices already. So definitely get in there, folks. Organize, let rip, do everything that you can, because look, there's millions of you. Imagine millions of seniors turning up at at the White House or Washington DC. Imagine, yeah, filling the streets with your banners, letting your voices known. Like I said, you don't have to be doing karate kicks and everything like that, because obviously I know people, in this age bracket, are more mature. It's not going to be like running like hoodlums through the street, but just your presence alone with your banners, with your voices. I hope that gives you some inspiration, because we can see from the chart, there is danger there, but also with those articles there. And I wanted to marry the two together so you could see why I'm expressing my concerns. But it's not too late yet. But all of you definitely must come together. And then someone's saying, my sentiments exactly. Quite a few of you here, actually, 117 of you. And let's just see here. Someone says, Lynette says, good point, Hogarth. If the orange one has his way, he will be asked to stay on at POTUS because he has declared a state of emergency. Yeah, we know Duck L'Orange, like you've heard me say before, but I need to say it again. Never underestimate Duck L'Orange. And I'm not meaning that in a compliment, never underestimate where this guy can go with certain things. Like I said, he is beyond the beyond. Look what's happened so far. So don't underestimate this person. He's, you know, a neo-imperialist, as a new word that I've coined. Now, what's this? Where is it? What was it? Was it? Oh, look, what's this here? So PVH-C. As an 82-year-old man, an 82-year-old man stopped getting his checks because they said he was unalive when he was very much alive. Another was born to our military parents. Checks stopped as was born in another country. Wow. Interesting. And then someone said, true, I'll send more emails. Absolutely. Do your best, everyone. What's this? Oh, thanks for all this information, folks. Lavanga says there will be special elections for, oh, so is that 1st of April? Because I know you guys do the date the other way. 1st of April to replace members of the House who left Congress to join the cabinet. If these seats are flipped to Dems, then we have a small majority to help fight. Yeah, I hope so. But the Dems need to kind of pull their fingers out. Now, I'm not talking, of course, about, you know, your Jasmine Crockett's, your Bernie Sanders, you know, your Tim Waltzes, you know, your AOCs. We know they're trying. I'm talking about the Vaseline politicians, as you know, a new phrase that I coined, Vaseline politicians. You know, your Chuck Schumers and your what's it, your Hakeem Jeffries and all of these ones that, you know, 10 of them voted with the Republicans. It's just, like I said, Al Gore, remember, betrayal, the star of betrayal. Uranus has been on that star. And I said, unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with issues around betrayal and stuff like that. So there are a lot of Democrats, understandably, millions of Democrats. Apparently, the Democrats have had their lowest approval rating in a very long time because they're not fighting. Yeah, they're just facilitating the other side. Anyway, Lynette says here, there is a huge issue with Social Security right now. Americans living abroad, wow, are having difficulties getting their SS checks. Really? People who have birther issues are also potentially suffering. What does, I don't know what birther means, but forgive me. Bora Bora says, hi, Hoagie. Right. Well, look, I don't want this video to go on for too long, but I hope that was helpful for you so you can see why I created that video, looking at the chart, getting the historical context of the energies, comparing that to where things will be in terms of the rude awakening slash rude slash great awakening. And with those articles, contemporary articles that were basically from today, just to see where we are, you know, on the story and stuff like that, because I just think it's such an important issue. So fight, yes, do the best you can, organize, protest, show up, collaborate, you know, because there's more of you than there are of them. Yeah, there's about 73 million people use Social Security. So imagine if, you know, one, you know, 1% of that shows up. Even, you know, 5% would be astonishing. Oh, I think my battery's running low. Ooh, let's plug in here. And oh, let's see here. Thank you. Birther means where you were born as an American child was at least on your parents. One of your parents was a US citizen or not. Oh, thank you. Thanks for that clarification. And then just to close, Sherry says, thanks, Hogarth, for your helpful ideas. No problem. So galvanize, organize. Yeah, this is a big deal. You don't need me to tell you that, but this is really important. This is really worth fighting for. And even though it might seem bad, from what I've seen from Democrats so far, apart from those virtuous ones that I've mentioned, I am not seeing enough from the Democrats, and it looks like the American public also agrees with me. The Democrats' approval rating is very low right now. I think it's like 37%. And the American people are saying, you are not fighting enough for us. Obviously, look, Tim Waltz, I wish him the best. He has a very strong chart. I can't remember which video I put in. Maybe it was my Thursday Friday, but he really does. If he were to run for president at some point, assuming that America is still together, as a continent, and elections happen, he really does have a strong chart. His chart is even a bit stronger than Duck Larange's, and it's more positive as well. So again, I don't want to be giving false hope and stuff like that, but fight, if you don't fight for it, it can be lost. And we see these people are absolute douchebags. So do your best, everyone. I'm going to be tottering off. Diane saying Rick Scott is a crook. I live in Florida, long time since my teens, and I'm 70 now. Yeah, I heard he's not the best, but even he said we probably shouldn't be doing this. When you can see from the articles. Diane says thank you as well. Thank you so much, everyone. So if you're watching this, please don't forget as well to like and subscribe. Of course, subscription is free, and let's help this channel to grow. Thank you as well to everyone who has already subscribed. I'm going to keep coming with the content. I'm going to try. I can't guarantee it'll be every Monday, but when it's a Monday and I've got time, I'll try and do these more financially related content. I still need to talk about elements of Bitcoin and H-bar and all that stuff, but I feel like things are moving at such pace. It's very important to talk about things like this, Social Security. This really does matter for people's incomes. So I'm going to leave it there. You will next see me on Thursday Fry Up, of course, but please share this with others, spread the word. I hope you found that interesting and helpful, and it's all in the action. So fight, fight, fight. Yes, peacefully, of course, I have to say, but fight for it. Yeah. Don't let them get this. I know you won't, and I know you're going to do your best. All right. So big love from me. I'm going to be tottering off for now, and I will be seeing you on my Thursday Fry Up. All right. Bye for now.